I get a lot of questions from people who say, I just got a brand new sawmill. It sawed really well while the guy was here, and he left, and I got out there the next day or the next week, and now it's sawing like, it's just not sawing good at all. If it's a new sawmill, these are the first things I'm going to look at. Yeah, exactly. It's loose. Look at it. It's not even touching the ground. Everybody gets wrapped up in how their mill is sitting on the ground. And they will spend hours, if not days, trying to get it just perfect. I like to have my sawmill where it's tilted back just a hair. So my head is not perfectly vertical. I want it back a little bit. I want the bed back a little bit, just a little bit. So when I put a log on there, it's going to have a tendency to roll towards the backstops and not roll off. You'd be surprised what just a couple degrees can do as far as helping that log behave better versus being dead level. So I prefer to have my sawmill canted back just a hair. And on manual mills, here's a little trick. Always put your sawmill where the head end, or the place you're pulling back to, is a little lower than the part you're pushing to. You probably just went, what? Let me explain. So this is a really important tip for a manual mill. People say don't give out enough tips for manual mills. This is big, because I had a manual mill, and this makes a big difference. Tilt the frame back just a little bit, so when you're pulling the head back, you're going downhill. Now we're talking a lot, because you don't want to get a runaway, but a little bit makes a huge difference. Especially with a manual mill or even a hand crank or anything, there's a lot of load being applied from the saw blade going through the log. As you're pushing the head forward, like I'm going to do on my hydraulic LT70, and say this is a manual mill, which it wouldn't surprise me someday if it's not, is I'm pushing through the log, and if I'm having to push slightly uphill, I'm never going to know it, because the load of sawing is a lot more than that little bit of slope. The cool thing is that once I've gone through the log, since the return side is a little downhill, this thing comes back like it's on a power feed. It's like it's on greased. I mean, it's sweet. So you want to saw a little uphill, and you want to return a little downhill. You will notice a difference. It's almost like you get an auto return. I mean, you can just, my old manual mill, I could grab that thing and just walk it back. I mean, it's like, come here, boy, and it would just follow me. It's wonderful. So that's a key. On a wood miser and a lot of other mills, you'll have feet or supports that are in the back, and you'll have some in the front. So the main thing is you want, in a wood miser, you want the rail that the head's moving on to be firmly supported. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. You also got these tires here. And on a wood miser, those tires actually act like shock absorbers and another set of feet. Your mill needs to be supported down its entire length. It flexes. If you ever go down the highway and you'll see a big 18-wheeler that's unloaded and you look down the bed, you'll see how much camber is in that bed. You'll see the bed actually is manufactured to go up and down. I mean, it's bowed up. That way when it's loaded, it's flat. Well, Wood-Mizer sawmills, I don't know if they have any camber in them, or any bow in them when they're built, but you can put a lot of it in there if you don't have the feet down correctly. So Wood-Mizer goes into this really involved, do this, do that, do this, do that. But the reality is it's a little easier than that, because in the case of Wood-Mizer mills, they are designed to be portable. They need to be firmly supported at all places, all legs. Move the head back and forth and kick its feet. You're not trying to hurt the sawmill. You're trying to just see what's going on. That's a joke, in case y'all didn't understand it. So let me explain what I'm talking about here. What I like to do is move the head all the way to the one side. See, you can tell that one's downhill. Look how easy that's rolling. I even do it on my hydraulic mills. Just to give the feed motor a little break. Saw uphill, return downhill. Move the head so it's standing on that jack stand. And what you want to, and think of a seesaw. So the wheels are holding it up, if nothing else. The head's over there, it's pretty heavy. Let's go look at this jack over here. It's loose, look at it. It's not even touching the ground. These are gonna be tight because the weight of the sawmill is making the whole thing go up like that. Now, am I gonna just fret all over and whatnot? Absolutely not. I'm gonna tighten this guy to the same amount. Case of some of these sawmills, they have what are called fine adjust outriggers. These are sweet. So I just adjusted that down. Actually, I need to get a little more on it. If you get the fine adjust outriggers from Wood-Mizer, they're called FAOs. You can adjust them by hand, and then you put the little doohickey here on it. Looks like a fancy tire iron. Go down a little bit, it's tight. So remember, all the weight is on this side of the sawmill. These should be tight. If they're not adjusted correctly, those will be loose. And sure enough, the back one's now tight. Let's check this guy. This one, it's a little loose. All right, let's fix it. This has got a little clip on it to keep it from rotating, but this keeps it from rotating. But bottom line is, put it on here, give it a little bit of a turn. You can feel it get tight right there. Doesn't take much. We're tight. Put this on. Put the clip back in. And let's go check them. That one's a little bit loose. Remember, it's a seesaw. Those will be tight. These will be loose. No problem. We're not trying to jack anything up. We're just trying to get them firm, get them firmly supported. And of course, that'll change if there's sawdust under the feet or something. But bottom line, that's all you got to do. It doesn't take much. Now, if you did not get a sawmill with the fine adjust outriggers, what you just saw me do got a whole lot harder, because the standard outriggers have little holes in them, and they're like a jack, and you got to go up like 1 inch increments or half-inch. I don't even remember, half-inch increments. I don't like them. I prefer the FAOs because that quick, I just settled my sawmill. It's that easy. You'll see newbies, or in my case, OCDers, adjust their backstops. These things will be sitting way up here, right? They go up and down, or they may rotate up like these. These are manual. And you'll see them, Adjust these until these are perfectly perpendicular to here. That's wrong. Because there is some flex in this mechanism, and when you clamp the log, especially a big one, this whole thing flexes back like a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch. So what sense does it make to spend every last brain cell to get those things perfectly perpendicular to the bed, whereas when you clamp it, they're going to flex back? So that cant's not going to be rectangular anymore. So what do? You purposefully adjust them a little bit forward. You get enough experience where you find out how much pressure you typically put on the backstops, whether, like I say, whether manual, hydraulic. You kind of figure out how much flex you're putting on them, because they will flex, trust me, even these massive ones here. And then you adjust so that this is inside, it's angled in, so when you do put a cant up and you clamp normally, now this angle is perfectly perpendicular. Kentucky windage. Adjust it to where it will cut straight when you're sawing and clamped, not unclamped and not sawing. So that's an important tip. So, and you need to do it on all of them, however many you got. Typically, I like to set mine about a 1/16 going that direction, because if you're doing more than that, you're pretty much over clamping. I have seen some that were so loose, just from wear and tear, that the owner would set them forward like an 1/8 of an inch. And when they clamp, of course, boom, the pressure or the load just pushes them back, and you get a perfectly rectangular cant. That's important. If you have a feed chain, do not oil it. Stuff sticks to oil. Wood miser probably beat it into your head. Use automatic transmission fluid, and at the beginning of every day, walk down this chain, spritz some ATF on it, and then walk back down this rail and spritz some ATF on it. And you can see I've always got 2 bottles of ATF right there just for that purpose. Sawdust, with all the detergents and the automatic transmission fluid, sawdust typically does not stick to it. As a matter of fact, when you do it, I mean, literally you just grab a bottle and just grab a bottle, squirt, squirt, and then you hit the clamp and a few things, and you're done. It's not like it should take much time. It should happen about as fast as you can warm the engine up. But definitely lubricate. Don't over lubricate. You don't want a big ball of crud out there. Oh, since I'm looking at it, another little tip. 2 tips. People ask me about the chain turner. Yes, I love it. Then they ask me about, does it dig into the side of a log with these teeth? And the answer is yes, it does. So what do you do when you buy a brand new sawmill with a brand new chain turner and have teeth as sharp as a chainsaw? Well, you take a grinder and you grind them down. Grind the sharp edges off. You can see how dull those are. So instead of digging in and smashing through the log, I mean, look at this guy right here. Even that one. So if you get a new sawmill, just close your eyes, take a grinder to it, and just take that sharp edge off. You will notice a difference. So another issue that you've got with the chain turner is many people leave this chain way too tight. You want it loose because you want it sagging almost down. See this cutout right here? You see I've actually got wear on that, because what you want to do is, if it's too tight, you're grabbing the face, you're grabbing stuff, and you can really bite into it. If you leave this kind of loose, and that keeps the teeth from digging in. And the cool thing is, it lets you start grabbing the corners of the cants instead of the faces. So when you're adjusting your mill, don't make that too tight. Actually, you want it a little bit loose. As I said, you kind of want it following the profile of this bar right here. A little bit higher, but not much. Let's put it this way. If you loosen it up just a little bit and dull the teeth, you will notice that it's damaging your cants less. And you do see me sometimes turn the cants using the 2-plane clamp and the chain turner. What I'm really trying to do is raise the corner up, get the corner between the teeth, and pull it this way, and that way I'm not even on the flat. So that's kind of a move you have to learn, but try not to put the chain turner on the face of the cant. Put it on the corner of the cant. It turns just as well. You won't scratch it up. You do have to use your 2-plane clamp a little bit. Something that you saw me do, and that is, did y'all see me do that? I left my band tension on overnight. That's not a good thing. I don't know actually how I forgot that, but I did. I mean, it's not gonna be the end of the world, but on some sawmills like Wood-Misers, who get that other so it doesn't misbalance it, there's a rubber belt that goes around the metal. That rubber belt is rubber, which means it flexes and it takes a set. I mean, it's basically a fan belt. So if you leave your sawmill tensioned overnight, or for longer, like a week even, you're gonna develop a compressed area right here. Because remember, the whole thing's pulling. This, you can see, is not compressed. I mean, it's not even touching it. And Wood-Miser belts are supposed to be a little bit flexible. They're not razor, they're just not crazy tight. So what'll happen then, is over a period of time, you'll develop a flat spot on this side of the belt and that side won't. And when you get to running, you're gonna be putting some vibration into your band. Yeah, it will happen. So always, always detension your band at the end of the day, not like I did and for some reason forget about it. These are all stuff you're not gonna see probably in the Wood-Miser owner's manual, but you'll run into them if you ain't careful. Never, ever, never, ever, especially in the wintertime, put the head of the sawmill as low as it can go. That's your natural place to put it. You're thinking, ooh, it's at the end of the day, I'm just gonna drop it down, everybody's good. And then you're gonna come out the next day and it's cold, and just like my skid steer, the battery's dead. Oops, guess where the battery is? The box that the head's sitting on. And you ain't getting to it. You'll try to get to it, you ain't getting to it. After a little finagling, you may be able to get it off. You'll be cussing the whole time. If you'd have left the head of the sawmill up like this, if I have a dead battery, I can just go in and pull that cover plate off, put a new battery, jump it up, hook it up to a charger. That ain't no big deal. If that head's all the way down there, yeah, good luck. So that's a really important tip, especially in cold weather sawing. Is never park the head all the way down, leave enough room. I like to leave at least a foot where if I get up the next morning and the battery's deader than a doorknob, I can easily remove the box and I can take care of the problem. Even if it takes putting a new battery in and out, ain't no big deal. Paint is your enemy on a machine that you're wanting to keep lined up. Lined up. Accurately lined up. Accurately aligned up. My Southern. When you get a new sawmill, it's got paint everywhere. Even that thickness of paint makes a difference, not necessarily on the rails, but it makes a huge difference right here on your adjustable blade guide. Especially if you have a wide head mill and you're sawing way in. After a very short period of time, you will wear the paint off this corner. And that paint's on there thick. And you'll wear the paint off on this corner. See that? Now you got to remember that this arm has to be 100% rock solid because it's what your band is riding on, right? It's really a poorly loaded system. You got this bar that runs through these little groove pulleys or rollers, pinched in the center, pulled together pinched and aligned exactly. This moves back and forth. If this has any twist at all, if it has any up and down, it has anything, that translates directly into your band roller, and your band is controlled by that band roller. So what does that mean? That means when you get your Sawmill brand new, this whole bar's got paint all over it. It's shiny, it's purty. It's misalignment waiting to happen. You start running it, you wear the paint off. There is a noticeable thickness on both sides. And in a very short period of time, as you wear that paint off, this will get loose. You're a new sawmiller, you didn't even know it was getting loose, because every time you check it, the band's tight and it takes the slack out of it. So you always check it with the band loose, and you need to be able to shake the bejeezers out of it, and it needs to act like it's welded to the sawmill. When you wear that paint off, you ought to grab it and you'll feel it rattle. And when your blade guide arm rattles, you're cutting wavy wood because your band's not controlled anymore. So you need to be on the lookout for that. And anytime somebody calls me up and says, I got a brand new mill that was cutting great, once we address the band problem, the first thing I say is look at your blade guide arm, loosen your band, take all the tension off this guy and start pulling on it. And you can tell it needs to feel like it's welded in, and go that way and go that way and keep jerking on it, because the cut quality of your machine is really in some ways controlled by these little guys right here. And that's it. On the LT40 and some other ones, they're kind of in here a little bit. Other sawmills are other places. But even on a manual mill, some have slides, some have grooves. When that paint wears off, you need to be watching for it and you need to adjust it out. And that is another reason you definitely don't let this arm get rusty. If you don't saw for a long time and this clean metal groove gets rusty, and then you saw for it again and knock that rust off, get it back down to bare metal, this arm's gonna be loose. By the same token, if you don't keep that schmutz off of there, I mean, you can't keep it perfectly clean, but this is another thing you spray with ATF. Just a little bit of paint on an area that's got to have really precise alignment and zero slack will cause you to cut funny. There we go. All right. So as a always just get into the habit, set your clamp lower than your backstops. That way, at one time you do lose your concentration, if the band clears the backstops, which is typically pretty easy to see, it won't run into your clamp. Now I'll tell you right now, there's only two kinds of experienced sawmillers out. It's one that's hit their clamp and admits it, and that's one that's hit their clamps and lies about it and says they never have, because you will hit something. So I always joke on a brand new mill, you're probably going to hit either your backstop or your clamp. Stop by Tractor Supply, get you some Kubota orange paint and some Rust-Oleum black. Because when you get your brand new sawmill, you're going to be showing it off to your wife, your friends, your buddies, a whole bit. And when you hit that backstop, hopefully with them not there, you need to hide it and spritz it on your backstop, spray it on your log clamp, and make it look brand new again. That way when your buddies go, hey, how come you hit that log clamp? As a general rule though, hitting your log clamp and backstop is not good for your sawmill, and it's also really not good for your alignment. So anytime you do that, stop, take a deep breath, and be prepared for your saw to not cut straight. Certainly you need to take your band off and put another band on. You don't mention it cut through your metal. You can see my front roller is not smooth anymore. Remember I was telling you about two kinds of experienced sawmillers? I will admit I've hit that thing. What's funny about it is I'll do some videos and people will comment if they see fresh scratches on it, like, hey, what'd you do? Hit your backstop? Yeah, it was pretty cool. I haven't yet caught it on camera. I guess I'm lucky that way, but if I did, I would show it, because that's just part of sawing, and even somebody like me occasionally does it. Now, typically, it's when you get distracted. Typically, it's when you're sawing at night. I hate sawing at night, even though we have lights. That's another little tip. Try to avoid sawing at night under the lights, especially while the sawmill's new. I don't care how many lights you have. The shadows are so sharp. You will miss something and you will cut into part of your sawmill, or you'll make a bad cut, or you'll raise the head too fast, or you're going to do some damage. I've been there. I've been there to the point, even though I have lights, in the wintertime I do have to saw a little after dark, but I do not like it. It's asking for trouble. Been there, done it. Now, if you're in a building and you have to saw under lights all the time, try to get some diffuse lights, not just these big blasters like I've got that are floodlights. Try to get the shadows to ease out. Try to get good quality light from all angles, because that does make a difference. I've done a lot of damage that way. I mean, you can saw for a year and never do anything stupid. You saw at night one time, you better be ready for something, because things just hide in the shadow. If you have a Wood-Mizer sawmill, I've had 3 of them. I've never owned a single one where the stock fitting that goes into the tank does not leak fairly quickly, like a year or so. It will drip fluid, and you'll come out the next day and the stuff, your band lube is laying all over the ground. Don't do that. Next time you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, even with a brand new lube tank, get a good metal valve. Just replace it, and while you're over there, go to the refrigerator section, get you a backup valve or an ice maker valve. That's what these are. 10 bucks, 12. This is really 1/4-inch ice maker line. You might have thought it was a sawmill, fancy sawmill line, but it's really the same stuff that are used for ice makers. So just get an ice maker valve. I mean, this will save you a lot of hassle. You can shut that off. This one always gives you a positive shut off. Easy to replace, and having 2 valves in line keeps you from dripping fluid on the floor. Because typically I don't close that one at the end of the day, but I will close this one. I'll come up here, I'll release band tension, and I'm done for the day. I mean, there's a lot more to it. If you're really having to chase some problems down, to go to one of my videos. I think one of them, I called it the first 5 tests. It's if somebody calls me up, or if I'm happen to be somewhere and they go, hey man, I got this sawmill that ain't cutting straight. Over the decades, these will be the first 5 things I'm going to look for in sawmill alignment. If you're sawing poorly, rephrase it, if your sawmill's sawing poorly, these are the first things I'm going to look at. If it's a new sawmill, the stuff I'm covering today is what I'm going to look at. So anyway, I hope this is useful to you. It is cold. Even Chip didn't want to get out here. My nose is getting frost bitten, and I'm going back to the house, I think. Thanks for visiting our sawmill. Click on the links above to see more of our videos.